Yeah, that chair squeak, am I right? Jeez. So squeaky. Everybody sneaking in, welcome, welcome. We're gonna be going live here in a couple of minutes. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the official Rockfish Games stream. I am your host, your guide, your servant, Eric Schrader, the community ambassador for Rockfish Games. Oh my goodness, Gary is out today. He Geek Bite, normally answering the questions from all you guys, but he is on a well-deserved break. He's taking care of himself and doing some pretty cool things, actually. I'm sure he'll talk about those whenever he comes back. So yeah, no worries on that front. I know that there's going to be a couple of Rockfish employees sneaking in from time to time, so just wave hello whenever they do so. But otherwise, yeah, we've had kind of an exciting week here at Rockfish. Actually, an exciting month already, which I guess is mostly just this week. Anyway, my point is that we've been making great progress with our free content update that is planned for the end of this year, and yeah, we're also making solid progress on making sure that console release this month. Oh my gosh, it's like 2 weeks away, a week and a half away. Wow, we are getting close. We are getting all things in order, which is very much unlike my ship right now. In our last combat encounter, we got a bunch of things completely busted up, including our sensors, both Umbra and Penumbra. That is actual pain. Goodness gravy. We are continuing right where we left off, which is in the depths of this gas harvester. So that's gonna be fun. Through the course of this stream, we are playing Nightmare difficulty. This is the hardest difficulty. For those of you who haven't seen it, Basically, it's this right here. That's it. That's what it looks like. It says Nightmare. And yeah, this is unlocked once you complete the game once. And you can change your game to it at basically any given time, so you don't have to replay the game if you don't want to. I personally really have been enjoying this experience, which has started a new game at Nightmare difficulty. The odds are much less in your favor on all accounts. Things are much more challenging, but there is a new chance to drop legendaries across the entirety of the game. We haven't seen it happen yet, but that's also because we've only reached level 15, so the odds are slowly increasing. Still probably not going to happen, but we can be hopeful, right? We can be hopeful. Through the course of this, we're also going to be highlighting various new item attributes, some of which were teased somewhat recently, but I'm going to be doing a little bit more of a deep dive of those today, as well as speaking on why we're adding them in the first place. We've seen just a couple of comments out there of saying like, oh, well, why are you adding this? It could dilute the pool in a way that nobody cares and it's going to take away possibilities, blah, blah, blah. No. We actually have pretty sound reasons why we want to do this, and also why it is going to be free. So ask those questions as they come through this process, and it's going to be a merry old time. So to kick things off, we're looking at this Prime Zapper. We did collect it last time, and it has two particular item attributes I wanted to bring up right out of the gate. And this first one, I believe we addressed a couple of weeks ago, but let's just bring it home. We have a completely sound bonus of 20% against specific targets, in this case, outlaws. This is a completely new item attribute, which can generate on almost everything. So, and when I say everything, mainly weapons. It's not going to be on modules, because your shields aren't going to be doing any damage to outlaws anytime soon. So with them being applied to your weapons, there are a number of different targets that can have increased damage to them, but there will only ever be one attribute capable of this. So you might get one that says against outlaws, another one that says capital ships, but it would replace the outlaws, or another one that says against turrets, but that would replace the capital ships. Like, you can only have one at a time. You can't have plus 20% damage to outlaws and capital ships and turrets, etc., etc. Only one slot will be able to take that over. And there's a couple of reasons why we are doing this. One, so that if you have a very focused build and you want to build it out even further and maximize your damage output, because I think that's what a lot of people like to do in looter shooter games in general, you can find that particular item, that particular attribute, and really succeed with it. And because it's only taking up one slot, that means your other slots can be satisfied with other particular attributes that you desire. We're also taking this notion into account as we go through all of our modules as well. You know, that modules being each one of these pieces, right? We have the energy core, we have the shield, we have the plating, the sensor, booster, cargo unit. All of these are considered modules on your ship, and their attributes, talked about it quite a lot, their attributes are mostly going to focus in on your ship-bound attributes as opposed to just an item-bound attribute. So that's going to be your firepower, precision, structure, utility, resistance, and expertise, okay? Even still, those other attributes that they will be generating on top of that can add some specification to the build that you are going for. And once we get to that part, we are going to start talking about it. This is a bad example. Since this was generated last time, this cannot generate anymore. So seeing this, how it has the double deals 20% damage, this is not something that we are aiming for. This is going to be removed. So I'm just going to literally remove it so that you can never see it again. Ha! There we go. So let's get into some gameplay here. Okay, we're at the base of the gas harvesters. That's right, we haven't done this yet, I don't think. So we're gonna grab this energy core. Since we followed the trail of Desbrez down here, we know that there's probably a reason for these things being in this particular order. It's almost like it's guiding us to a place. Wow, look at that, right to the energy core socket. We didn't even have to do that much thinking. Just the way I like it. Mainframe component, and it looks like a shield. 97% structure, and look at that, 8% increased kinetic damage on a shield. on a shield. 8% increased kinetic damage. Of course, this applies to your weapons, not the shield itself. This applies to your weapons, not the shield itself. This is actually a pretty good shield, aside from the fact that it's a speed word, so I have to be boosting for it to recharge. That is tempting. Those are some nice stat increases. I think I'm gonna take it. I think we're gonna do it. But then we also have a new mainframe component. We're gonna boost our utility just a little bit more. It's really suffering, so I wanna try and bring it up a little bit. Damage limiter here. Cool. Neat. We want to go back to some place to repair, so I think we're just gonna head on up to the landing pad up top. Oh, complete 3 high-risk areas in Union? Let's change that, because we are in Zarkov right now. We could... Let's track the distress calls in Zarkov. We can try and hit another one of those. And we'll contact the Flying Duchess to repair, maybe find something new and purchase it. Why not the shields itself? Ramming speed with full shields, I see. Man, ramming builds, that was a long discussion we had prior to even like the prototype. Well, during the prototype, I should say. But I very much pushed for like ramming speed attributes, like collision damage style builds, and I think as I was recommending them, I was also realizing how that's not as interesting as of a gameplay experience as the gun combat, the gunplay, if you will. But rest assured, I mean, we do still have those capabilities, right? We've got high pressure here in the energized boost that can truly maximize a lot of damage without using collision damage, mind you, because it's just in the area around your ship. So it actually ends up being a lot more effective and more fun because your ship hitbox is surprisingly small, and it can be hard to ram into another ship if that's what you're trying to do. But Energized Boost says, you know what, let's have a little bit of range around us and just scoop it all together, and it's pretty satisfying, I feel like. So, pretty satisfying, I feel like. All right, let's go ahead and look at some of these. We got precision instead of structure. I'm just gonna, yeah, we're just gonna buy and equip that. Nothing here. We got some earth wine, no thanks. Cooling units for repairs. We have plenty of them for repairs already. And iron as well. We're actually gonna buy these. Just to top this off. Seems okay. Sell the shield and the solar panels and the ramen. We're also going to sell this prime zapper. I do like the critical hits being able to recharge weapon energy, but I don't think this has the fire rate I kind of want for a weapon with that. At least not where we're at right now. So we need more blueprint progress here, so I'm just going to go ahead and break it down. Okay. Not the ramen! Oh my gosh. Sorry. Didn't realize you guys wanted the ramen. So let's go ahead and see if we can find a distress call, pick up some new items, and talk more about some of the item attributes and kind of the process of why we're going in this direction for EVERSPACE 2's free content update later this year.
This Rosalind isn't any better. I can't believe that we share the same genes. The sooner this is finished and I can get back to Dax's mission, the sooner I can put all of this behind me.
Oh, did I not fix my gear? I did fix my gear, I'm good. Okay. Saw some comments like, dang, did I really do that? No, I didn't. I did fix my ship. I needed to. Trying to see if I can get a distress call before Vesna Mining Colony, but if not, I'll just go there and hopefully not have too many issues. If my gear's not broken, I fixed it! I fixed it! I repaired! Crazy people. Alright, here's this distress call. Let's champion this bad boy, top off this challenge. This part of the challenge. Then keep on keeping on. Yeah, the Zarkov music.
That you're here.
Let's try to get this tormentor down first. No. Okay. Ah, there's another wave. And be careful not to shoot our friends. Got a bit of splash damage here. I don't like that. Alright, where's the Weber? There. Okay. They're healthy enough. I'm going to keep isolating these while the others are distracted. Did I get him? I did. All right. Alright, good. Lots of blueprints. It's feeling nice. Yeah, they got plenty of health. Sticky turret, neat. Nice. Alright. Some more ramen. So there you go. Everybody who was sad that I sold it, we got some more. All is well. It balances itself out, right? It's got a new light engine unlocked. Cool. Let's just look at the debris fields here. Also, let's go ahead and open up a new challenge here in Zarkov. High risk and 3 location challenges. Ooh, we haven't been doing location challenges. I don't think I'm going to track either one of these. We're going to keep our screen less busy today. A little less busy today. Nothing? There's a container over here, okay. You can almost always make money from the ramen. Yeah, ramen yeah, when you purchase it from Prescott, basically everywhere else will buy it at a higher price. That's true. That is true. I'm not necessarily sure it's the most cost-effective purchase when it comes to commodities. In fact, I'm rather certain that it's not. But it is nice that there's like always a profit from it. Any new colors for the update I see? Is it just a random question? No, there's not really any plans for more colors for the free content update. That has been something that has been a kind of a point of conversation, but pretty satisfied with the selection that there currently is. Not to say we couldn't do more, it's just right now we're adding more gameplay altering elements as opposed to just aesthetics. But speaking of aesthetics, because you asked the question, we are making progress on new tier 4 ships. So that'll be something to talk about, hopefully sooner than later. Harvest gold, all right. Let's go ahead and dock here, do the mission thingy.
I'm certain you have now assumed the role of Roslyn with enough conviction.
Whew, that slideshow though. Don't worry guys, it'll be over in just a moment.
Without my...
Woo! Some locations, am I right? Some of these locations. It's gonna do it again, all right? Just heads up. We're going into PowerPoint in 3, 2, 1.
You had to bump right into Blakemore, didn't you?
Oh yeah, perfect, excellent,
Suspects?
flawless. I suppose now is as good as any time to speak on how we are still focused on these frame rate issues impacting certain locations, like the Vesna mining station being one of them. A large one that has impacted probably the majority of players, though, has been right over here, over in, wait, no, not in Drake. Is it in Drake? Yes, in Drake. Yeah, over on this ice cold planet called Gilbert. Yeah, we know. We know. We've experienced it ourselves, and it sucks. Still looking for new ways to optimize. And based on the reports that we've been getting, I also just want to give a little shout out to you guys. Thank you, by the way. For those of you who are giving us reports on your slowdowns at these locations, we are discovering some parallels with certain features that are available, say, on Steam, but aren't on, say, Game Pass. And we are working to correct those. We do want to have 100% parity between Steam and Game Pass. As we've mentioned in the past, there have been a number of challenges to bring that forward, but rest assured, we are looking into what can be done, and hopefully there will be progress on that front. So, yeah. All right, so we got a number of new things. Let's add the sticky to our collection. Wonderful. All right, yeah, we got just some small nanos. Nothing too much else. Now it's time to do some drones.
There are 3 service drone terminals marked on your HUD.
Some dronage gameplay.
Control the drones and remotely steer them through the vents to the servers.
And because this has little to do with itemization and the item attributes, if we're not finding anything in the secrets in this area, then I will probably just generate a couple of them for you so that you can really see what we're working on and why. Because I know you're here for that, and I don't want to waste your time.
I have my own reasons for doing what I do. I only want to hold G and B and counter their actions.
So you have a particular grievance with G&B.
Okay, the questions stop there. You're not here to chit-chat.
Lots and lots and lots of things to do here. Maybe we'll do a little bit of it. First, we'll at least do the service drone territory. You mean wings, right? Not completely new classes? Well, they're completely new wings. So, there's that. I mean, there's tier 4 wings, yes, that are the same classes that you guys have seen, but then there's also new wings that we're working on. I'm really glad that that didn't upset you and you didn't start shooting at me. So there's new stuff in the works. There's new stuff in the works. Should be no surprise that we are working on new wings, which is technically new ship class, subclass, rather. As we've talked about that prior. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Not sure how many we're going to be able to make, but
Okay, data transferred.
there's going to be a few additions, probably. Pretty good chance. Let's, oh, it's the braking part first, I think. Yeah, there we go. I don't know why, I love these little segments that just have this quick departure from what you're used to. Like, we're all in this mechanical sort of space, and then all of a sudden, wow, there's a mine down here. Now, is there a bug affecting me where it's not letting me collect any of these resources? Dev branch builds, am I right? Jeez. It's not displaying anything. I know in our current live build that's not a problem, so just ignore that if you're wondering why it's not giving us the number. Here, let's just take a quick look. Aethium crystal. Let's see, we have 120. We have 103. Okay, so it is working, it's just not showing on the screen. Alright, that's fine. That's fine, you can be a butt. Oh, wait. This opens, doesn't it? I can't remember. Might be thinking of a different spot. Just looking for little secrets. I feel like there was something over here. Did I collect it already? Did I do that prior stream? I can't remember. Too much stuff to do. Or wait, no, it's up above, isn't it? Yeah, it's up above. Okay. Pays to look around before you just start, like, grabbing stuff. Yeah, so when I say subclass, I want to be very clear. So, like, the Reaver, the current ship that I'm flying, is a subclass of Sentinel. So these wings, this is the Reaver subclass of the Sentinel class. All right, so just that quick clarity so you guys don't think we're like adding entirely new ships to the game, because that's not what we are doing. That is not what the plan of attack is. But new wings, which would generate a new subclass for certain ships, namely the lights and the heavies, are something that we are looking into, something that we would like to try and expand a bit further. Since, as of right now, as most of you know, the medium weights, the Interceptor, the Sentinel, and the Striker, all end up having 4 different wings. So they have 4 different subclasses each. Whereas the lightweights and the heavyweights don't. In fact, all the lightweights and heavyweights only have 2 subclasses each. Alright, and oh, that's the busted one, and now we need to do this one. Almost done with this little side bit. Maybe we'll get some items to talk about. All right. 10,000 credits. You know, I'll take that. 15 superior pulse laser.
Holy scrap. Where did this come from?
So this is actually our first superior item that we found in the game. Let's see what stats it has on it. Ooh, actually, this ain't too bad. This is this actually looks like a pretty dang good pulse laser. So after 10 non-critical hits, the chance of critical hits is increased by 20% until a critical hit is made. This one's already generated into the game. Second one is also already generated. 30% increased damage against units with a higher level than your own. I have a feeling we're going to be encountering that a bit as we continue navigating through Zarkov here. And it also does bonus damage against capital ships. So, man, I do love our combo here with Umbra and Penumbra. So I think we're just going to hold it for a moment. But we do have this equalizer, which is painted green because it could be used with Alec. This one has, 2% increased energy recharge rate for each enemy within 500 meters. An attribute that I would feel a bit better about if we were flying a Striker. But I do like that. 10% energy damage bypasses the armor. Okay. I love how this flak is actually better than Penumbra. And you'll see this in our design philosophy with the sets as we continue to move forward. We don't want set items to just be better variations. In fact, in a lot of cases, we want them to be worse because, for example, this flak cannon by itself is just inherently better than a Penumbra. Right? Of course. But when you are pairing the Penumbra accordingly with its buddy, over here the Umbra, now suddenly it's better because it's got that 30% damage increase for its usage, right? To set items as a whole, you're going to see more item variants. That's going to be in the future. But that's the mentality we have. We want them to exist kind of poorly until you start slapping them together with synergetic benefits, and then you're going to start doing some damage. Then you're going to start feeling the benefit if you pair them together. And it's through that. Wait, was there something to grab there? Was that? Oh, yes, just through that. There may or may not be some adjustments to some of the set items that we've already highlighted and shown you guys. It's a constant tweaking process. Just a constant tweaking process. So, guys, we are doing we're in a story segment. So we are kind of bound to doing these drones, but we are going to be doing a little bit to gather some new items, talk about new item attributes along the way. And we're also answering questions as we can when they show up. And I do see a question that I missed. Whoops. So let me just take a quick breather and answer a couple questions that I see. So the question comes from Bearded Frog on YouTube. Does the 8% bonus to kinetic damage apply before or after firepower bonus? Is it additive or multiplicative? Maths! Oh my gosh, I love this so much. If I am not mistaken, and I haven't done the perfect crunch of all of these values at this time, I would have to ask Hans Christian. But it's to my understanding that these values are applied to the base value of what's being offered, and then that's multiplied by the firepower. So anything that you see on the items, that's its base, and then it's multiplied, the attributes are multiplied on top of those bases. So items first, whatever you see on items first, and then attributes multiply on top of that. I think I saw another question, making sure that I didn't miss anything. Looks like... Oh, I missed quite a few questions. Oh, goodness. All right, let me see what else I see. Will there be any keyboard and mouse compatibility on the Xbox? No, Jambo. That type of development is a painstaking process, actually, and we are steering clear of that for a lot of development reasons. But I think that you will also appreciate how much faster we're getting it out the door in its console state, as opposed to if we were trying to generate that, it'd be back in the hold for a few more months, actually, just to do that alone. So no, we are not doing that. Just checking for more questions. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Regarding item naming conventions, is there a reason why you chose to give items generic names? Like why the pulse laser always called pulse laser no matter what rarity, instead of giving each item of a specific type a unique name based on the rarity? There's not really anything too crazy regarding that. The main thing is that overall, with the primaries, we wanted to have the naming conventions just to give you a strong idea of how the item operates. So when you see pulse laser or you hear pulse laser type, you know that it's going to be an energy bound pew pew weapon, right? Like when you hear railgun, immediately you know exactly where that's going, as opposed to when you have item variants, right? So you have like the Umbra. Well, you don't just talk like, you know that the Umbra is a blaster, so it refers to the blaster type, and you know what a blaster does, right? So that's sort of the naming convention means to an end here, is that we have the types that all have the generic name, and then you have the variants, which have their sort of customized, this belongs in a set, or this belongs to a corporation, or this belongs, you know, to something else, while still being identified as that type, so you as a player understands what it's going to be more or less similar to, right? And of course, there can be some types of variety from the variants that can make the item shift its usage a little bit, but that's also something just to be explored when you're going that route. So good question. I'm going to answer a couple more here, and then we're going to dive back into some gameplay and hopefully get some more item modifiers to check out, or attributes to check out. I'm not seeing too many more at the moment. Why does the engine trail color change in hyperspace? Just because we wanted the super light engine to be consistent always, so it's always going to be blue. Yep. That was something that we talked about internally. We're like, should we have it as the player's own specific colors. Nah, we didn't want to do that. We actually wanted it to be always blue in super light to make sure that you as a player knows you are specifically in super light. It's that distinguishing factor. The engines turn this color when you're in this mode sort of thing. Love the colorblind options. They alter the entire world's visual appearance. Would it be possible in the future to adjust these settings on the HUD only? That is a curious question. I don't believe that is actually possible though, Steiny. But I can at least bounce that over to the rest of our team and pick their brains on it. I know that regarding Everspace 1, what you're asking for is actually what we did, and then there were ramifications for that. Because we did that, we had colorblind issues saying like, well, this is nice, but it doesn't really have much of an impact because the game state remains consistent, so things can still get lost. So, yeah, I think it's apples to oranges, really. Having both options means that we're just going to have to do basically twice as much work output for that situation. And I'm not sure if that's really a priority. Unless you feel, and we saw a large outpouring from our colorblind community saying that what we are currently doing doesn't work, in which case I highly encourage you to make a post up on Steam, talk about it amongst your friends, and see if that can generate any noise. Because if it really is bad, then we'll address it. But as of right now, we're pretty happy with the results. How many people do I have to convince to buy Everspace 2 so you guys make the Switch version? Oh, you're gonna have to convince the CEO himself for one. But yeah, the Switch is not in a territory for us to optimize for. The Switch's processing power is just not what we would like to develop for. So, but who knows? There's rumors abound about like a Switch 2 or whatever. I think I've seen that a little bit online. Haven't heard about anything on that front elsewhere though, so I have no idea what that would even look like, or even if it's possible for like Everspace 2. That might be like future projects maybe, but no, there's no way that Everspace 2 is going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch. People are pointing out the Steam Deck. That's very true. The Steam Deck does in fact exist, and we are working still to optimize it on that front as well. Okay, so that was a good slew of questions. Guys, go ahead and keep on asking your questions. Just a reminder, I don't have Gary assisting me with cataloging them today, so my apologies if I'm a little slow on picking up those questions and getting them all answered. If I did miss one already, whenever I start asking or reading questions off again, just go ahead and shoot it over to me and I'll see if I can get you straightened out. I don't like it when questions go unanswered. I'm here for you guys. I want to make sure that you know what's going on, or at least get clarity on certain points and topics. So we'll get there. We will get there. Speaking of getting there, lots of things in this territory as well. Oh, that's right. That's the energy core socket. So many things to do in this area. Lots and lots and lots. Let's do the drone. What's the ETA of the next major patch I see? Well, major patch, I mean, I guess the best thing to describe for a major patch would be like launching for consoles, right? So that would be August 15th, because the game is coming to 2 new consoles. So all of our PlayStation 5 owners and our Xbox Series S and X players will rejoice. If you're regarding the free content update, we don't have a specified time other than later this year. So you'll need to just be patient with us on that front until we have more information to share. So there's a lot of stuff that we're working on, and part of the reason why we kind of highlight a little bit of that during these streams is because we are eager to talk about it. But there's a delivery process involved here. We can't just show everything. Oh, I need to follow these cables to go over here. Destroy that first. There we go. kind of skipping some of the exploration now because I do want to get through the drones and back into more items to show you all. So thanks for your patience. But happy to answer even more questions that you have. Go up. Let's see if we can do this first try. Last time I did this, it was rather embarrassing. There we go. All right. Yay!
Tammy, transferring all the data to you. Are we good?
A lot of it seems to be encrypted. It might take a while to decipher and analyze it.
Can we say that Everspace 2 on console gamepad will be just as good as Everspace 1 controller-wise? I mean, we certainly hope so. I mean, we currently have, like, you know, Xbox controls fully integrated. We're getting some issues rectified on the PlayStation side. But yeah, I mean, it should not feel much different, if at all, than what's currently available on the PC.
Such an action risks breaking the rules and exposing your false identity. The Commissioner would not tolerate such mercenary actions.
Can't stand by and watch friends die, Hive.
Wizard Jerry, yes, I will. Let's grab some more things. Is that the last one? I think it was. No? Is there one more? Oh, there are all those ones. I feel like this is supposed to be slid back too. I'm still missing something here. I might just come back to do this later. I can't remember how to do this. So close. One more try. One more. Did it do the thing? Okay, it did the thing. We made it. With no items. Oh, goodness. I really wanted some items. I need you to move. Come on. So what do we get here? We have thermogun, nothing new. Cruiser, nothing new. Okay. Well, let's keep exploring then. We are done with the area, so we can go freely to our next location, to our desire. Let us speed along the process. This is an interesting question over on Twitch. From your experience, would you recommend switching to Nightmare after playing through the main story, or rather stay on very difficult and then start a new run with Nightmare? I mean, I think that's going to be dependent on the type of player that you are. Like, some people just want to dive into the game. I mean, we've been advertising the game as a story-rich experience, right? So there's going to be, and we understand there's going to be a lot of people who just want to dive into the story, get the story, and then be done, right? And that's fine. That's fine if that's the type of player you are. And to that, you know, the difficulty is going to be incredibly dependent on if you are really going straight for that story, if you do want to have like some semblance of a challenge, or if you want to like feel some weight to your actions and to your opponents. And yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that we do recommend most players to just play on normal. But if that's not to your cup of tea and you want to raise the bar and you really liked what you had to play, then yeah, by all means, bring it up to very hard, and if you really, really, really just want to keep maximizing that experience and bringing it home, yeah, take it to the next level, put it on Nightmare, start a new run. It's definitely the hardest challenge that I've done with the game at this point. Alright, so we need to be a little bit more thoughtful here instead of talking to random people on the internet. Whew. Just gonna create a nice little minefield for our friends here. See if this can slow them down a little bit. Man, I really wish I had corrosion mines right about now. I don't want to destroy my mines. I also don't want them to shoot the mines when it's right in front of my face, which can definitely happen and could have murderized me. Okay, we're gonna do something. Making plays! Okay, you need to go away. Isolate, isolate. There we go. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Pain, 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 pain. Oh. Come on, come on. I need you down. Ouch. Asparagus! Oh, yeah. Feeling better. Got our asparagus. Ah! We didn't just trap ourselves, did we? No, okay, we're good, we're good, we're good. Alright, there we go. There we go. We've got critical hits, 40% chance to recharge weapon energy by 2%. That could be really freaking strong, since every single projectile shot can invoke that chance. That could be huge, actually. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this on and just scrap this generic beam laser. That could be very, very good. Asparagus, the color that I unlocked for the for the ship. Let's see, we're gonna actually hang on. Quick compare. I do like the precision, but yeah, you know what? Honestly, we're just gonna keep what we have.
Planning to kill you. Any idea why?
I've been supplying them with drill parts for Veridium, which could not be acquired through their regular supply chains due to its illegality.
And I reckon they wanted to scrub any evidence of obtaining the parts through you. You need to tell me more later when we meet up at my base. But first I have some business to attend to.
You will find me where you sent me, Adam.
Okay, we did just quick save. What? Yeah, we just quick saved. That's something that we are adding to the free content update. Shoot, actually, we might be... Well, I just want to get ahead of myself. But it's coming to the game sooner than later. But just wanted to save before we threw ourselves over here in a slightly demolished capacity because, you know... Finding some good stuff. We're gonna make a little bit more room. Beautiful. I'm considering doing the race, but yeah, we might as well do it, right? Let's go find more items. I want to do that instead. Let's get to the shipwreck. Crit repeater, yeah, kind of. Kind of. Is chat broke? I keep getting errors. I can read what you're saying at the very least. Yeah, we'll do Citizens of Velocity here in a little bit. I want to try and get some more item generation for more stuff. And if it's really failing us, if I can't get just that cracked into the new content that I want to talk about, I'll just generate it. I'll forcibly make it show up.
You may have already noticed that I took the liberty of adding various locations to your star map after analyzing the data you gathered at Vesna Mining Colony.
Thanks, Hi.
Nice new locations to explore.
I see a question over on Twitch asking who prefers cockpit view to third person in this game. You know, our stats have shown that it was actually slightly higher than I think we were anticipating. It's something, if I recall correctly, it was something where like 15%. Maybe it was even more than that. But that was higher than what we were expecting players would do. But yeah, we're glad that you guys are enjoying this view. It can definitely be pretty pleasant. It can definitely be pretty pleasant, especially if you got the right setup for it too. All right, so we need that power core somewhere. I remember that we marked it due to that reason, but these guys are even weaker than us. We're just gonna go. We're just gonna go. We want better loot, not crappier loot, right? Oh, cockpit view's at 2%. I was thinking the gamepad. Thank you for that quick correction. So, Michael, thank you very much. Michael's the CEO of ROCKFISH Games. Man, how did I flip those around? I remember those statistics we pulled a while back, and I thought, man, that's so surprising. But okay. So yeah, gamepad is at 20%. Cockpit view is just a mere 2% of players. Good clarity. Allow us to raise the seat height and I will play with nothing but cockpit view. Oh my gosh, you guys. I mean, you can raise the seat height all the way out of the ship. Look at this. Look at that. Impressive. What's my favorite aspect of being a game dev? Oh my gosh. It's a lot of fun having lots and lots of discussions about what needs to happen to the game. Like, just in general, I just like talking about games. So yeah, whenever we're like coming up with ideas for like set items or item attributes, or even before these things like just ship passives, for example. Yeah, I mean, I love those discussions because it's like, what is purposeful and can enrich the game? Like, what would be valued? We don't want to just add stuff because we can. We want to add stuff because it has meaning. It has purpose to it. That's what I really enjoy being a developer. But I also really enjoy being a community ambassador. I'm mostly, well, I shouldn't say mostly, but I'm also focused. I do a lot, okay? I really like hearing what you guys are experiencing in the game and sharing your screenshots and talking about your builds. And also bringing your problems, your criticisms over to us. We can't really do too much else if we don't know what people don't like. That's a powerful part of this process. And so we're really happy with the results from early access, for example, and I love just chatting with folks just on all topics, really. It's good time. I'm most active in the Discord for those chats, by the way. But we also peruse, Reddit, Steam. Our Kickstarter also has a lot of odds and ends and questions over there too. It's good. Oh. Just making sure no other questions have slipped in that I've missed. For all the these new item modifiers impacting attributes and damage, will they be visible somewhere so the player can see the results? Something like a character sheet or additions to the ship attributes page. Kazaa, I love this question so much. And it's something that I have been raising as a point alongside these additions. and something that I think would make a lot of sense, we do have these receives bonuses from across the attributes, for example. And so this is a really good way of knowing what's impacting what. To add more stats to these as sort of the culmination of your entire damage output, for example, we would have to break into even more separate sort of orders, sort of structures. So for example, like your firepower alone just shows your kinetic damage and your energy damage. And if we wanted to have a very specific one just for kinetic damage alone, and then a very specific one for energy damage, and that also be dependent on what weapon you're using, or what set you're using, or what legendary you're using, or what modifiers are in place, you can already tell that things are getting rather overwhelming just for separating out two different things like kinetic and energy. And while we internally agree that something like that would be a powerful resource for the player base, we also don't think that it's going to add that much accessibility overall. Most times when a looter shooter is being played, the vast majority of the player base is just going to go, oh, it's green there, I'm going to equip that because it's green. And then there's going to be a little bit of that decision-making process, you know, of noticing that this bypasses armor, or this has increased damage against units with a higher level, or this one has 4 increased primary weapon damage, you know, etc., etc. But unfortunately, the impact, the workload of what would be required on that back end to get all of these details, again, we would love to do it. The workload just doesn't satisfy the lack of desire or assistance it would ultimately provide the vast majority of the player base. Now, that being said, of course, we still want to aid players with those extra details. It's actually why we are including this toggle now for the show detailed weapon stats right here. Like, the big reason why we added that is because we figured that that's a partial solution to an issue where you can see more of like the item's velocity, the spread, you know, elements like that. On certain ones, like you have the projectiles per shot plus 8 projectiles when charged, like you're getting a lot more data from just toggling that if you want it, as opposed to going into that very intense deep dive that would require a tremendous amount of work with not just, unfortunately, just not a lot of product to show for when all is said and done. It's you know, it is kind of sad. It's kind of sad to say that, because I mean, this is something I would also love, but the reality of it and where we're at just doesn't really quite make it happen. Sorry. We have something in perks we can unlock. Oh, Alec, yeah, we can have that equalizer. Okay. Forgot about that. Actually, we might as well slap that on. I'm not too interested in using this. So we could hook up our boy Alec. Yeah, let's do that. Let's give it to him.
Nice.
Need EMP missiles now. Well, shoot, we could probably just craft those. Just top him off. Good old Alec. Nice.
A suitable skill.
Ironic that Hive is complimenting that because he doesn't like the furball. We'll take it. Oh. Exomaths asks a pretty good question too. So it says the current condition section under ships tabs shows 6 slots. Does that mean we can have a max of 6 buffs and debuffs at the same time? No, it does not. What happens if we get a 7th buff or debuff? If it doesn't scroll left and right, I don't know. I actually haven't tested something like that. I'll have to get back to you on that. But I definitely know you can absolutely have more than 7. I can confirm that. You can have more than 6, I should say. But yeah. All of a sudden now I want to I want to check it, but we'll keep going. I want to find more item attributes for you all. That's going to be the focus. Now, obviously, you also did see this one where you have a 4% increased primary weapon damage. And you probably noticed that that was different from the 8% increase to kinetic damage over here, right? So you can have varied percentages on these topics where you have primaries, you have secondaries, then you also have kinetic and you have energy. If it's more specific on kinetic and energy, the percentages are generally higher. If it's more specific on primary and secondary, the percentages are generally lower, but they do impact the overall performance regardless. I feel like we're gonna level up soon. We don't need to do anything. All right. Okay, we did explore a bit of this. We could explore a little bit more, but I really want to get more into items.
You need to get back here pronto.
I know, Delia.
Your guest has arrived.
Serena's there already?
And an angry, shouty man. There's about to be a shootout.
Why does Alec show up and leaves a few seconds later in the middle of a battle? It just depends on where he's coming in, because if he's in the middle of combat, he's not going to fly out unless he takes a certain number of damage. So if he's like really just getting waylaid, he'll just bounce out. He does have plot armor, so he can't be destroyed, but he will leave if he isn't taken care of, if he's not doing so hot. What do we have here? A level 13 high-risk area? Surely we can do that, right? Surely there's no problems or issues with this. But otherwise, Alec, whenever if he like warps in and there's like one enemy nearby and he kills it, but then there's other enemies in another spot, yeah, he can sometimes just leave. And there's a little bit of a feels bad man to that. I definitely can understand. A little bit of the process, you know. Thank you, Outlaw Drone Carrier, for being my catalyst. I'm gonna save this. We're gonna need it, I have a feeling. All things considered, things are looking pretty decent so far here. Oh, Madcaps? I had to say something, didn't I? Woo! That wasn't a good EMP. Unfortunate. This is actually, this is not doing super well for us. Not as well as I was hoping. At all. Nightmare mode, man. Who would have thought that it's actually a nightmare? Okay. Next target. Come on. Okay, good. Oh, not good. I was wondering why they felt a little bit more beefy than they should. Let's get some coverage here. Just to charge up our devices again. Oh man, we're getting flanked? That's not good. That's really not good. Oh, no.
I can make animal sounds if that would comfort
A little evasiveness. Let's see if we can, do we have any? Sure, that's fine. It's something. We need something. Our turrets are doing a little bit of work though. That's nice. Speaking of which, let's just prepare. Let's just prepare. Not nearly as much as I was hoping it would be. Oh gosh. Shields are almost down already. Okay, this time we're actually going to craft. Okay. We're gonna do that twice. Crafting our missing components just to make this easier. Plopping it in there. Oh. I do like the damage limiters. Just a nice, simple reduction to damage. Too much damage. Oh! No, 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 no! Alright, we do have something that's triggering to get our devices back. And I want to know what that is. Oh, there it is. Instantly reset all support device cooldowns when shield depletes once every 2 minutes. This has been saving our butt. What a nice passive for the Sentinel. What a nice passive for the Sentinel. When our shield is going down, if you see all my devices coming back, that's why that is happening. And I really, oh, there it is. That's what I was hoping for. Now we just have to get a good place to use this. That might be tricky. Yeah, let's just use it. Come on, come on! Let's just charge it up again. Not enough nearby. You know what? There's an asteroid here. We got the boss spawn. Okay, okay, alright, alright. Okay. Okay. The approach here is going to be the tricky part. I need energy. Come back to me, alright. I don't want to use... Alright, I'll use one. Really don't want to use my devices to close this gap. I just want to use my boosters. Let's just try to maximize damage. Here we go. Knowing where his health pool is a little concerning, but we're making plays. All right. Oh, that was a satisfying crunch. All right. Let's see what we got. Catalyst, rapid. Nice. We will take that. We will take that. And we got a ship module for the front. Okay. We got a number of goods over here. Nothing too crazy. I mean, it's all level 13 because the high-risk area was level 13. We're just going to scrap it all. Actually, we'll scrap some of these super lame ones and move some better territory items up. We'll scrap this last one, that's fine. Cool. That was close? Yeah, that was a little tighter than I was anticipating it would be. Easy, says the chat over on Twitch. Oh my gosh. I like how YouTube's like, that was close, and Twitch is like, easy. That in and of itself is just like so most definitive of the types of people there are. Like, if you use YouTube, if you use Twitch, I'm not generalizing, yes I am, but you know, there's a little bit of truth to that. It's funny. It's good. I bought EVERSPACE 2 a few weeks ago after years of holding out. It is the experience I've been looking for in a space game for years. Thanks, Heart of the Tiger. Glad to hear it. And I hope that you are also excited for more content to just embrace you later this year. So it's free content we're working on, some of which we were talking about in today's stream. Hoping to crack into even more of it soon. But I'm gonna identify some items with modifiers or attributes there. Very, very good. Throwing YouTube under the bus again? No, just saying, like, different styles, different tastes. I like how YouTube is very caring. They're like, man, that was close. Are you okay, Eric? Do you need a shoulder massage? Can I get you something? And YouTube's just like, easy. Or Twitch is like, easy. No big deal. I need more of a challenge. You call that a challenge? Piece of cake. It's not always like that. I just think it's fun. I think it's fun. I'm seeing discussion about, like, for rifts and seeing, like, the front shield generator uses. Man, I cannot wait to unlock that in this playthrough because that'll make such a difference. Oh, the thing is so good, I feel like. It's one of my go-tos I've discovered. Okay, so just checking out the catalyst that we got. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Fire rate increasing by 20%. Yes, please. So let's see what we got, if there's any new things to talk about. 5% reduced device cooldowns. So I think now is a really good time to start cracking into expanding upon why some of the things are happening in the way they are. As a whole, we noticed that just getting a bunch of ship attribute points up here turns out isn't as exciting as that sounds, honestly. Oh, like, I get to increase my firepower by 50 points. Okay, well, I was seeking to increase my damage output anyway, right? Like there's value in it. Especially if you're going into the more specifics like utility, right? Like, I want my ult to do more damage. I want my devices to have a faster cooldown. Like, there's intentionality here, don't get me wrong. But when it comes down to, like, the modifiers, the item attributes that are generating on the equipment, a big reason why we evaluated this and said, what can we do to this? Is because we felt like in its current state, and what you guys are currently playing, it's good. And that's it. It's just good. And we want it to be better. We want more emphasis to be involved in this looter shooter side of EVERSPACE 2. Now again, the looter shooter side of EVERSPACE 2 is not the primary focus, okay? That's true. However, because we've taken a lot of inspiration to incorporate this into the game, and the late game thrives on bettering yourself and perfecting your builds and all of those types of things, we felt like it would be a sound compliment to a lot of you guys out there, a lot of the community out there who's just been continuing to pour your heart and your soul into our experience, showcase these ridiculous high-level pieces of gameplay, and then now we're giving to you, a lot of you guys, and how these modifiers are going to shape and change new directions that you'll be able to take that you otherwise weren't able to do before. 5% reduced device cooldown is no small value. I mean, when we're looking at utility, which granted, it's a low value here right now, but this is only at minus 10%. This is only at minus 10%. So in conjunction with this, I mean, this is basically a 50% increase to your device cooldown. Think of it like that, okay? That is not a small amount. That is not a small amount. So it's 50% to your current, the wording is difficult there, whatever. Anyway, my point is that you can see how adding this variety here, like 10% increased EMP duration, another one that's a solidified element to what could be very powerful in the right hands to promote new usages across the board. So instead of you just going, well, I need more firepower, like literally everyone else, now you can look at something like this that says 10% increased EMP duration. Shoot, I should focus on EMP builds. I was kind of interested in doing this one with like a Sentinel where its ultimate was providing EMP, and then I have this shield that also explodes with EMP, and then I also really like EMP missiles, and all of a sudden you can start chaining these things together to expand your particular build that truly does look different from the next one, because this variety that's taking place has meaningful interactions with how you're approaching the game. Not to say that the static values of increasing your attributes doesn't, but here it's so much more transparent in how you are building your playstyle. That's what we're approaching these item attributes as. We want it to provide more player agency. But Eric, by adding new item attributes, you're diluting the pool. Now it's going to take longer to get the one that I'm seeking. Partially true. Partially true. Because of the way we're integrating these item attributes into the game, we want to make sure that there's some static level values that are always going to be up front for you. As I mentioned a little bit earlier in the stream, let's just kind of cover some of that. With something like all of our modules like this, all of these modules, even here you can see the top modifier is almost always going to be some value associated with one of your ship attributes up here. Almost always. And then you're going to have those more playful ones to follow it. Those ones that can do something specific towards a build idea. Something that can do something specific towards a new opportunity that you hadn't thought of before. And that's going to be able to shift the gameplay much more into your favor, especially if you are up for experimenting and trying new things. That's what we're going for. That's what we're going for. And furthermore, for the absolute die-hard looters out there, I know you're there. I know you've been playing Diablo 4 because it launched recently. This also adds a lot more incentives to keep after those rifts, to keep after those HRAs, to keep after these other sort of generating events that happen in the end game, so that you can continually build yourself up and become a true maximized powerhouse. As I've said before in the past, we haven't been done with the rifts, so maybe there's a reason why you need to fine-tune yourself as well. All right. We will continue exploring what modifiers we see. That's the big chunk of what we're up to and why for these item attributes. I'm sure there are some questions and some comments that have generated because of the statements that I've just made. And if you are curious and want to know more, that's why we do these live streams. It's to have a conversation with you and to show you what we're up to so that you can be aware, be notified. And if you have like really big concerns and maybe even suggestions, that's what the forums are for. Not that we couldn't, discuss a little bit here, but still, my point. So lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff. And now we're gonna sell a bit of it because we have too much. Kind of want to just hang on to the, no, you know what, we can craft more. Stinging turrets I've been finding more valuable in Nightmare difficulty than not. Not entirely sure why, but it's nice to just pull enemies away from yourself and also get a little bit of extra damage in. I do like the nano repair kit, but maybe not right now. We'll hang on to it though. Mining equipment, the shield. Let's just get rid of the medicine. Blueprints are unlocked here. I'm probably gonna sell a lot of this stuff I've been hanging on to maybe for a little too long. This guy, I think we are going to start shifting our build. I want to do this. This feels good. So this Baron Enforcer, critical hits have a 40% chance to recharge weapon energy by 2%. Because it's going to have 10 projectiles when it's fully charged and I shoot out there, with a 40% chance from each critical hit, I mean, the maths are going to be a little bit hard here, but like we have about a 13% chance, then a 40% chance from that. If we're shooting 10 pellets every shot, that means that we've got a pretty decent chance to get like at least one critical hit every time we shoot, right? And it could be more than that. It could be a little less than that. I also think that because we're doing this, maybe we should cycle like this over here, just to increase that almost to 14%. But I do think I want to go this direction. I also like this, where this one's also applying critical hits. After 10 non-consecutive hits, the chance of critical hits increases by 20%, so this is just going to ramp up. This also deals bonus damage to capital ships and then has the damage against higher level, which I think is going to be fruitful for just about where we're going to go. Let's see. Sell some of these other items. At 10% EMP duration is awfully tempting, especially with our Sentinel here. You know what, I think I'm going to use it. Gives us more structure, which isn't as desirable as firepower, but I don't think the values are going to impact us too much at this time. So we're going to use that. The device cooldowns alone makes me very eager to try this. So I think we're going to use it. All right, so we're going to scrap this to get the blueprint. Sell this for the monies. Sell this for the monies. We're going to scrap this. Oh my gosh, somebody was like, what? Why did you do that? But I did it. We're gonna sell the medicine too. All right, we've really knocked down our inventory. All these Zarkov signals too. Hang on. They're all... Let's sell some of the... Let's sell these. There we go. All right, lots of space made. All right, I'm gonna look over and see if there are any questions regarding the little chat I had about items. And then we'll just keep going. So just looking over, let's see. Did I miss one? Out of the game asset creation, programming, and optimization / bug fixing, which of these 3 pillars require the most work of EVERSPACE 2? Probably the programming and optimization / bug fixing. Oh wait, you're identifying game asset creation, programming, and optimization / bug fixing. Okay, optimization / bug fixing is probably the top work for EVERSPACE 2 Crimson King. That's interesting. I normally rope optimization and bug fixing as kind of like inside of programming, because it's just like it is part of the programming experience. But I see what you're going for there and why you're distinguishing it as a separate core pillar from that one. But yeah, that one through and through has been a large portion of what we've had to do. Not to say that our game asset creation hasn't been, you know, extreme with over 100 handcrafted locations across 6 solar systems, right? And not to say that the programming proper also hasn't been just wild. But optimizing and bug fixing, like, shoot, goodness. Thousands upon thousands of tickets. I'm not joking. Thousands upon thousands of tickets that were bottlenecked to just a couple of people on the team at a time has been, what a huge challenge. But it's been good. The game's been so enriched because of that, because of the feedback from players, because of the testing, because of so much. Gosh, it's just a shame that we can't work even faster. Like, we need to just hype Hans Christian up on coffee or something so that he's just operating at 5,000% all the time. That's what we need to do. That's the next plan. The pulse laser sound, gosh, I love that sound so much. It's so meaty. I like this. surprises you that the programming part has required more work? Well, I mentioned the optimizing and bug fixes as the biggest Crimson Cane because like through the beautiful game asset designs, right? It takes the optimization of said designs in order to really bring everything together as a whole, right? So not to say that, you know, like the intentionality behind the level designs of all of these locations, because they are, there's a lot of intentionality as to why we did what we did in these spaces. But when it comes down to it, I mean, gosh, dang, it's so much, it's hard to compare, gosh. All I know is that bringing it all together through that optimization and bug fixing has just been, it actually is kind of hard to say the more I'm thinking about it. But I feel like it just because that's what we've been working on the most for the last like 2 years probably. Has been like a big portion of like the overarching development as a whole. Yep. Hans Christian is a machine, yes. Yes, he is. That man. I mean, there's so many team members on the team. Team members on the team. That's a little sounding redundant, but I assure you it's not. That are just absolute beasts. The work that they do, you're like, how did you accomplish this in 24 hours? And they're just like, I don't know, it just needed to be done. And you're like, but what? Like, that's impossible. Like, how did you, there cannot possibly be the human capability to accomplish. It's nuts. Like they're using real world cheat codes in order to like optimize themselves to just overperform. It's nuts. It really is crazy. So big shout out also to like Andy and Tony, Matthias is working on chips. Andy's working on Andy's done, oh my gosh. Goodness. If I'm starting to describe what everyone's doing, we're going to be here a while. Marco also does a lot of the insurance of balance, making sure things feel fun. Marco's really good about that. Hans Christian too. A lot of balance in general. Gosh, oh my goodness, we could just keep going and going. Let's see. I'm not going to worry too much about any of this for now, Tareen. We're going to untrack it. We'll look at that when we have to, not when we want to, if that makes sense. We're going to keep the reduced device cooldowns, even though this is just inherently better. Because I want the device cooldowns instead. See, now this right here, right there, is a lot of what we're aiming for. Oh my gosh, let's just put emphasis on this. I have a higher level energy core sitting in my cargo, waiting for me to equip it. And instead of me going, well, there's a bunch of green numbers there that say it's better, I prefer the item attributes on the prior one, giving me more firepower and reduced device cooldowns. This is the type of engagement we want to have with you as the player when you are diving into this experience. We don't want you to just see the green and go, oh, okay, slap it on. We want there to be thought in this process. We want there to be an intellect into your build. We want things to have meaning. We want there to be purpose. That's why these inclusions are filtering their way in. Not to say it's not currently, but we want more of that. And it's also why we're adding this for free. It's just expanding upon that original intent, taking it that extra step further.
Where is this asteroid I'm looking for?
Yeah, well, I didn't exactly write down the coordinates, did I? Thought we could be compromised that way. So I drew a picture, see?
Okay, so that was a really expansive answer to basically one question. Let me,
Really? Is this all you're giving me to go on?
I want to answer some more questions too.
Standing on a circle with some squiggles around it.
We've also seen the request wanting to see this picture, like what Maddox drew. What a strange request from the community, like wanting to see the picture that he drew. What a silly thing. We might end up doing that. I think at one point we were debating on having the having a special item in here that's just like a map and it just shows up and it's just like this dumb looking picture of like squiggly lines of what he's describing. But obviously that never happened because it's not exactly a priority, but I think it's so funny you guys want that. It's awesome. Okay, now let's answer another question or two before we keep moving forward. We're making a lot of progress today, but let's do this. So Exomass asks, Vanguard's expertise says it has a critical rear attack. Yes, how do we find the rear/engines of an enemy ship? Is it always the part of the ship which is showing engine thrust? What about enemy ship modules which are sphere, circular shaped, i.e. drones? Do they have even a rear area? Yeah, so effectively what we have done is that every single enemy in its hitbox, basically the rearmost polygons of the vessel are considered the rear of the ship. So it's not necessarily the engines specifically, it is quite literally anything that exists on the back side of the ship. Now, I would need to get clarity from Hans Christian, actually, on if that applies to like the rear of, say, a destroyer, because it's very large. I don't know if there's a specified location there or if it's even applicable. So I would need to follow up on that front. In fact, I'm a little surprised I haven't asked that question before now that I'm thinking about it. But for the most part, every single one of your ships, it's going to apply to that. Because drones almost never show their rear side, I don't know if we actually added the code in there because I don't even know if it's necessary. It would be more so applied if like you had them randomly spinning from an EMP and then just got like a lucky shot with the Vanguard. I think that's too niche of a situation, and so I'm rather confident that it applies primarily to fighters, not drones, and I would need to follow up again about the capital ships. So it's a great question, honestly. It's a great question. In fact, if you are part of the Discord Exomats, I encourage you to go to the Ask RFG channel and just slap that in there. That way, I can't avoid following up, because it's my job to ensure you guys are satisfied with the answers. So, yeah, do that, and I will follow up with you. It'll be great. It will be super duper. Let me see if there's another question. The problem with Diablo is that it's not a space game. Nice, nice. I like that. I like that comment. I mean, it's a very different game, let's be clear, but, you know. Why was the Executioner renamed to the Enforcer? Is there an explanation you could give us? Yes, because the short of it, Flory, is because we actually had a better idea for another item that we want to call the Executioner. That's it. That's why we changed it. The Executioner, we think pairs better elsewhere, as opposed to this, which we feel Enforcer pairs better as the naming convention. That's honestly why. There's no legal mumbo jumbo or PR or, you know, political correctness nonsense that surrounds it. Nope. I've seen some people ask that, and no, it has nothing to do with that. Any chance for a way to re-roll one or all of the modifiers of an existing piece of gear in the future? Definitely something that we've talked about internally. Can't say that it will happen or it won't happen. We'll see in the future if that's something that we find to be valuable or not. Personally, I agree with you. I think that it would add a lot of value. And if you think that it could add a lot of value too, and you want to see something like that happen, all the more reason to jump onto the forums, make your case, slap it in there, because the more voices that we see on a topic like that, the more weight it has in our overarching decisions here for Rockfish. I'm also not doing that because, again, like, I think that it would be powerful too. We still have to make some pretty hard calls internally and say, even though this is desired, we need to do this instead. Sort of modes. It's the process of development. I'm sure some of you out there who also have developed something in your life can attest to that. So by no means am I telling you to do this to make it a guarantee, but still, it's definitely something that we have spoken on, and definitely something that is up in the air. Not on the table, but it's not off the table either. Cool, cool. Maybe we'll do one more question or so, then we'll do a little more gameplay. I know we're paused right now. Oh, the benefits of having Gary is just so much. I miss him. Gosh, I want him here to assist, guide, and serve. It's so wonderful when he's here, when we're working together, answering your questions. So I got a legendary flak I really like, but now it's 6 levels lower than my level. How can I increase its level or firepower? A legendary flak that I really like, but now it's 6 levels lower than my level. How can I increase its level or firepower? Firepower is only going to be able to be increased through your firepower stat on an item like that. There is no such way to bring that up to level 30 if it's 6 levels lower. Sorry. You can only bring it one level higher through modifier. Let's keep flying around. Get some good music from Union. It makes you sad, Davinator, and I'm sorry. It was actually a rather hot topic internally for us to decide if we could keep leveling items up and up and up, and the overarching concern, for better or worse, was that it would incentivize users not experimenting with new equipment and instead just stick to whatever they had and just keep upgrading it for continued use. We didn't want that. That was never the plan over the course of design, especially in congruence with the how like the crafting system would work. So it was decided that we were not going to allow any more than just one level. 6 levels of use is a good run though. Yeah, heck yeah it is. You are not wrong. Oh, look at this guy, just a little weakling. I love it. Get wrecked. Oh my gosh, the damage. Oh, I'm feeling good about this equipment. I mean, obviously they're like 5 levels below me. Let me have this moment, okay? Just I just want to be a bully to these guys right now. It feels so good. Before they level up, before everything goes to crap, just let me have this moment. I thought no, we haven't explored this area. Stay the course, stay the course. Let's try to head in Kioni, or not Kioni, into Kait, rather. I went through the pros, got first, there we go. Beat. Oh, I missed a question. I'm sorry. YouTube from Dalrethliant. Why do I try reading usernames? Anyway, are more capital ship types to fight, or are you planning for more fighter varieties? We would absolutely love both, but we are doing more capital ships, guaranteed. Can guarantee that. Michael had mentioned in a previous stream, he brought up that we are creating the Outlaw Dreadnought. So there is going to be that bad boy. And we're also working on the Leviathan. I don't necessarily know if that counts as a capital ship or not. More info is required. But yeah. Let's do the gas field racing challenge, actually. But we would also like to do more fighter varieties, for sure. I say that like we haven't done any more for your convenience. Capital fish. Thank you for that, Sniper. I really do appreciate it. I love me a good pun. Pleases me greatly. I'm gonna need you to sit in the corner. Okay? That was like it was good, but let's take a breather. I need you to go think about what you've done here. Capital fish. My goodness. Okay, let's get this pingy thingy before we race. Otherwise, it's gonna drive me crazy. Oh, it's above. It's above. Hold the phone. I thought this one was down. This one had to have been moved. This had to have been moved. Was it always here? No. 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 Goodness. Alright, that's fine. What else did we get? Just the energy injector? We might use the energy injector just for the sake of the race. Nah, that's fine. Let's do this. Good afternoon, Rockfish. Are you playing by controller or keyboard? I am currently playing with mouse and keyboard, but we were pretty pleasantly surprised by the results with the controller. In fact, I shouldn't say we're pleasantly surprised. We're very happy with the results. We have a number of console-specific players on the team, and so having that is incredibly important. Oh! I forgot how to fly this ship. This is also a very sluggish ship in general. Oh, oh. This is going to be a horrific time. If we're lucky, maybe we'll get bronze. It's not that bad. Now, if we die, I'm going to be a little sad. That's silver? Really? Alright. Level 16. Oh, yes! Yeah, okay. This damage output is what I needed. That feels good. Alright, this is probably a good spot for us to pause. We did highlight a good number of new item modifiers, attributes, I keep calling them modifiers, item attributes, and just covering a lot of the reasons why we are doing this. For anybody who's kind of missed it, whenever we have these live streams, we actually, when they're posted up on YouTube, we actually add chapters to them so you can kind of jump to key moments. We do this for almost every single stream. There's a couple that don't have them, which mainly comes down to the availability of myself or Gary. Sometimes we're not both there and it's kind of challenging to post those up. But there should be a recap on YouTube's if you've missed, so you can kind of hear me talk about that accordingly. Otherwise, yeah, let's just go ahead and, how far away are we? Okay, we got some space. Let's go ahead and just save here. So we're gonna save our... I was doing nothing else through the course of this last couple of weeks, tell you what. Let's see, we're gonna save our nightmare game. Done and done. And now we're gonna jump into the community field segment where we're gonna highlight some screenshots and we're gonna continue answering questions in a more rapid fire way. So give me 1 second to set that up. Don't go anywhere. Back. Welcome once again to the official Rockfish Game stream that you didn't technically leave, so you've always been a part of it. I hope that those little scrolling marquees helps you see where you can also join additional conversations and follow for more information. We do a lot of this stuff all the time. Gary and I are very active in the Discord. A lot of the times we're just kind of carefully monitoring, but when there's questions asked, man, we dive in super fast. And we'd love to have those styles of discussions with you all if you're ever curious for more. So yeah, don't be a stranger. Join our ways to communicate and we should have a pretty good bang time together. So in this segment, we are going to just highlight various shots from the community. All the ones that I selected this week do come from Discord. Kept things a little bit easier on my plate for sanity, honestly. But that doesn't mean we can't pull from other sources, and as we move forward in doing more of these community highlights, we will be pulling from more sources. And we're really happy that it's coming together really well. This first shot actually comes from the Chemical Bro. The Chemical Bro is one of our galactic photographers, and for good reason. Does a very good job with contrast, making the lights and the darks very profound, highlighting key moments, the shots, and also does a really good job with depth of field. Both things are capitalized on here. So, good. Let's see, we have, I'm like looking for questions and I see that I totally missed the request to do that in first person with no inertial dampeners. I'm kind of glad that I missed that, honestly. Ooh, boy, that race would have been awful. So, I'm not seeing too many new questions. I do see one from Davinator once again over on Twitch. He says, will we get a 3D radar in the cockpit in the future? No plans. Nope. Nope, we do not have plans to do that. That has been, you know, it's been a request that's come here and there. Totally get that, but we don't want to do that. That's not the intent and how the game has been designed. We want it to be much more of kind of a plane of existence in these spaces, intentionally gamified for easier navigating. We also add pins to drop in to help you understand where certain things are at, though. So if you haven't ever done that, you can push the plus button on your the keypad of the keyboard. You can drop pins, makes things a lot easier to track and follow, but there's not a plan to do a 3D map. Let's see, we have, I don't see any other questions at this time, so we're gonna just float through some more screenshots. And if you guys do have more questions, by all means ask, because I would love to answer, provide any sort of clarity, and we can spark up a certain discussion or two should one be required, especially about the item attributes. A lot of those getting added, whether you have a question about like our intentionality behind them or what some of them look like or how they operate with each other. I've seen a couple of those questions. Feel free to toss it out. This screenshot comes from Dark Chaos. Dark Chaos is also one of our galactic photographers, and he's been enjoying a healthy amount of EVERSPACE 1, which has a lot of replayability because it is a roguelite. And through that, what that means for anybody who doesn't know what a roguelite is, that means that there's procedurally generated runs that you play the game on. When you start the game, you start from Sector 1 always. You'll fight your way through to Sector 2, Sector 3, Sector 4, until you die or you make it. And once you complete it, you are rewarded with a high score. Whenever you try again, you will restart from Sector 1. If you're doing the more story-centric mode of the game, there is permanent meta progression. So that looks like unlocking a new ship, or unlocking more device slots for a ship, or enhancing your map so you can see more opportunities as you're progressing through, etc., etc. And there's also a hardcore mode, which is a little bit closer to a roguelike experience, not much more. The minutia here is terribly hard to describe to just a general audience here, but the short of it is that in hardcore, you start with no meta progression whatsoever. No perks are unlocked, aside from some generic ones to just make the process easier. And every time you start hardcore, you have to build your perks along the way of progressing. So I'm speaking to all of this because I've seen like players reaching back into EVERSPACE and playing that over and over. Screenshots hold up incredibly well, much like is shown here from Dark Chaos. I myself have also cracked back into it. It's just a fun little ride. So if you guys haven't picked up the original EVERSPACE as well as the DLC, because it's an absolute steal with how much content is added to the game through it, definitely put that on your radar. I think that you might appreciate what it has in store for you, especially if you're just itching to have a little bit more. So, make sure you're drinking water. Make sure you are drinking water. My throat is dry today. This shot comes from Sonozaki, who was recently added as a galactic photographer for their incredible shots. Solid orientations and compositions overall. But this one here, you can see a lot of parallels actually with the Chemical Bro, where we have some delightful contrast and some proper framing techniques in use. It's a really pleasant shot, just looking at the planet from afar, wondering the curiosities of what lie within. Very, very good. I do see a question that has popped up from Exomaths. Thank you for your questions, really do appreciate it. The question is, let's say I have a destabilizer missile with effect that the only on primary weapon crit fires a free missile with 60% reduced damage effect. I wonder which effect is actually reduced. Is it the duration reduced or the effectiveness itself reduced? Same question for EMP missiles. It is the duration reduced. It is the duration reduced. So if it were to last for 10 seconds, as an example, it would only last for 4 seconds based on the auto firing. I know that one for sure. Actually, let me just pull this up. Oh, I can't because I'm showing the screen. It might also affect the amount of the destabilization, but I need to double check it. But I know for sure it does. It's very specifically bound to the duration. That was a pretty important conversation we had when we were plotting out that particular design. Next shot comes from Kowalski, more highlighting their ship than anything else, and also could definitely use a little bit of a scrub. This screen is oriented strangely. There we go. That'll work. But I love me some color consistency. One could argue that this is too much green, and, you know, that's fine. You can think that. I think that what they got going on works for themselves to really stand out. You know, this almost feels like that outlaw you meet at the very start of the game who's looking for that Viridian paint, right? And who's just like wanting them to make sure nobody else looks similar. That's what I see here. That's why I captured this one, and goodness gravy, like, gotta buff out those scratches. It's ridiculous. We are the Borg. Too green for the Borg, isn't it? I mean, I guess the highlights, the green lights. Yeah, I'm torn. I think that the torn apart bits, I will agree that seems very Borg-like, but I digress. What's, oh my gosh, Beard Frog asking questions. What's a Horwash? Oh my gosh. You're ridiculous. I know you're kind of referring to Horag, like Alec. That's funny. Alright, let's go to the next picture. We got another one from the Chemical Bro. This is one of those shots where it's like, I just want to take it, I want to slap it up on my wall. It looks great. It looks fantastic. It's almost got that movie poster look to it. Almost. Like it's on the verge. It's on the verge. But I love how he's got like those added little details of these planets here, right? Like it adds just a little bit extra to what's already going on. It's a very simple approach. We have very nice angle going upwards, bringing it all together. Solid symmetry of the planet, almost perfectly placed in the center. It's great. It's great. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I want to make sure that I'm not missing any questions through the YouTube banter? I don't know what to call it. Doesn't look like I've missed anything. Guys, if you do have questions, remember, right now is the time to ask. I really do want to make sure that you guys are all hooked up on all the details of what we're sharing, kind of what's coming up, especially in the case of item attributes right now, because I know that there's a lot of questions that could be floating out there, and I know that you have a desire to see what's coming, and while I can't speak to most of it, it's always fun to just engage with you all, and, you know, let's have a discussion, right? We really do like engaging with you all, otherwise why in the world did we do early access? And yeah, it's good. It's good. So this shot comes from Spoot Knight, a rather simple one, but one that kind of invokes a sense of tension. This is when you first meet yourself in EVERSPACE 2. So we have the player ship over here. Spoilers, I guess. This is the player ship over here. Look at that. Beautiful. Nice and retro mode going on. Love it. And this, of course, over here being a variation of Adam. Nice, simple composition, nothing crazy going on. Sometimes it's the best way to do it. May I leave the corner, says Sniper. Yes, you can come out of the corner. Wow, you've been in that corner for a long time. All right. I may or may not forgot on you, so my apologies. I like to think that you were also doing like there's a coin on the wall and you put your nose and you're holding it up against the wall. You're just like standing in the corner. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like has anybody ever been punched like that when you were a kid? You had to like hold the quarter up against. Brutal. Brutal. All right. Let's see. Can I have his corner? You guys are asking weird questions. I really do want to assist here. Sincerely. Like, I have a desire right now. It is in my heart to serve you. I love these streams. I love the silliness that we can have here, of course. But I also want to make sure that whatever your needs are when it comes from Rockfish, from EVERSPACE 2, I want to make sure those are being met. And if they're not being met, like, I want to talk about it. I want to have a discussion. And I know that a lot of you are here because you're eager to know what's coming around the corner. And so shape and move those questions forward, because we want to help you. The whole intentionality of designing this game and adding more content isn't just because we want to do it because we can. Like I talked about that earlier. That's not the intent at all. We want to create more meaningful scenarios in the game. We want to enrich it. We want to better it. And there's also a bit of this stuff that's coming because of ideas from you. This shot comes from the Tundra. The Tundra was dropping in a couple of new shots. I think they're a little bit newer to the Discord community, but welcome regardless. I did like this shot just because, you know, it's fun. I think a lot of people who are familiar with the legendaries know that this is Bird's Nest, and it's about to make a super cool rave party. And it's just a nice momentary shot too. Some of the little effects and stuff that can be captured are fun. Here's a need. I need Inquisitors to drop more loot than just one solar particle. Oh, is that a thing? Does that happen? They normally drop me a lot of loot. It's interesting. Oh, I missed Spoot Knight's description as to why he was showing that screenshot. It was to intentionally show how much of a size difference there is with the light ships and the JV fighter. That's fair. That's really fair. Yeah, it's a tiny little guy. Super tiny little guy. It's so huge. Yeah, definitely in comparison. Super small. Exomath's dropping another question. We are going to cycle over to Exomath's shot here. And I forgot the name that you're calling it. Something about like the eye of the world or something. Very clever alignment in this photo, by the way, Exomaths. So now let's answer your question. Does the damage we reflect onto the enemies with retaliation perk contribute to the self-healing we do when using a nanotransmitter device with Carefree package? Also, will the new set bonus we are getting in the future, which gives us reflected damage when picking up energy orbs, contribute towards the self-healing? So those actually operate in two different tandems. So the first one is going to be the retaliation perk deals damage based on how much you took, and then does that specific percentage back. In addition, if you're using the nanotransmitter alongside Carefree, Carefree is going to do the damage based on the nanotransmitter amount, right? So it's not that it's like stacking. There are two different instances that can happen at the same time, if that makes sense. So one's not getting multiplied by the other, they're both simply happening, and they can trigger based off the same shot. Also, will the new set bonus we are getting in the future, which gives us reflect damage when picking up energy orbs, contribute towards the self-healing? That should actually work, yes. So the intentionality of that particular set item is that the reflect damage that it applies is going to be in addition to any other reflect damage you've stacked. So if you're using, say, retaliation, and then you also have that set, you're gonna add those percentages together. So I am currently blanking on how much retaliation is. Is it 40%? Is it 30%? But then one of the items in the set that you're talking about is 10% while boosting, right? 10% reflection while boosting. So you would take 30 plus 10, so you'd have 40, as opposed to 33% because you're doing 10% of 30%. Does that make sense? So those would add. That's a great question. I love that question. Cool. All right, let's do another question. More questions are great, but we're gonna do two more shots that I have cataloged. This one comes from DH397. I think they snuck into the stream early, perhaps. But I even just like comments and I was like, that's a fun little ship. That's a fun little ship design. It's you know, it's a nice development from the initial Sentinel that players will start with. And I think they even said that this was their second ship, which is impressive that they are starting off with like the veteran slapped on the side there within Union. It means they've been doing some work. So nice. I think it's a pretty nice looking ship. some incredibly heavy contrasts, yes. You know, that yellow definitely stands out. But it's fun. I love it when you guys share your ship designs. It's just seeing the personalities that you have come out based on how you've colored your ship. It's a thing, okay? It exists, it's real, and I love it. So thank you very much for that. All right, the last ship that we are going to highlight today comes from Crydra, maybe? Cyedra, perhaps. But yeah, another enjoyable shot of their ship. I think this one invokes some clever use of color. I love the red cockpit coloration and the red engines, as well as all the highlights here, the lights, emissives being shown in the red as well, and having that paired with the coloration of the text. Just a nice subtle way to enhance it even further with this incredible black, blue, white theme. It brings it home really well. And I think that there was a couple of shots taken of the ship so you could see different angles, but it comes together in a cool way. So good stuff all around. Water. Guys, that's it. That's all I got. That's the last shot. I feel like we've actually talked about a tremendous amount of content, which is more just like a joy for me to share with you guys when you're coming to these streams. You know, these streams aren't anything super crazy, and we're not trying to make them anything like that. But, you know, we might in the future. We definitely saw that, you know, when we did our set items at the beginning of last month, for example, that we had some pretty nice viewership. There was clear desire to see more content. And just want to let you guys know that we see that. Like, we hear you. We see that desire. And much like I told you, even like at the, was it the start of May? Gosh, I feel like we really have to go back. I told you that we wanted to get back into showing more and more and more stuff during these streams. And it's only going to pick up from here, guys. It's only going to pick up from here. We've been working on a lot of different things. And it's, yeah, like, I'm excited. You can tell that I'm excited. I've got to hold back though. Woo! And I just hope that you can keep blessing me with your presence and your questions and your silly comments and all of that fun stuff. It is an absolute joy to be your community ambassador, sincerely. It is such a pleasure to do this for you all, and I want to keep serving you. And I can only do that if you're showing up, if you're asking those questions, if you're providing these beautiful screenshots to highlight. Maybe we're going to poke in and do a little bit more fun stuff that we can kind of have that level of engagement with, hopefully. And otherwise, yeah, I'm always going to be here for you all. You guys have been awesome. I have been Eric Schrader, your community ambassador for ROCKFISH Games. Don't stop being awesome. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll catch you in the next stream next week when we're getting awfully close to our console release. Oh, that feels really good to say. We're almost there. Oh, all right, toodles! Yeah. I really like that trailer. I think it's nice. I think it has some good excitement going on. Oh, so soon, too. So soon to get into this console. Whew, the consoles. It's one of those things where it's like we just want to get there. You know? We just want Michael to push the button and just like magically work. Of course it doesn't work like that, but we can dream, right? We're almost there. Almost there. We're hitting a lot of other little details too on this roadmap that we're trying to, nail down. Gosh. Whew. This is such a fun ride to be with you all on. It really is. Gosh. I think EVERSPACE 2 on sale on GOG right now. Is that right? It might be. I think it is. Perhaps. Little sales sneak in from time to time. Just doing some quick checks. Yeah, it's good stuff. For those of you who are not aware, this is the post-stream sort of shenanigan portion. So if you I don't know what to say. I was going to try and describe some semblance of professionalism when it comes to me beatboxing, but that's what's going to happen. I'm going to do weird things with my throat. And sometimes it's cool, and sometimes it's just, it exists. But it's fun, and I like you guys. And you seem to like it. So, yeah. Without further ado, let's have some fun. EVERSPACE 2. Go buy it. Till next week.